Am I the a-hole for backing out at the last minute because I didn't want to sleep on an air mattress? I, 27 female and 3 friends, made a last-minute plan to go to the mountains this weekend. Our group consists of a couple, let's call them Jay, 27 female, and Sam, 32 male, and 2 single friends, me and Alex, 26 male. We actually found a good Airbnb at first. It had 2 bedrooms, one with a king bed and one with 2 single beds. Alex and I were totally fine sharing the second room, as long as we had our own bed. But Jay kept saying that she wanted a pool. This is a short 2-day trip, and we're staying just 1 night. I really didn't see why a pool was a big deal. We kept going back and forth trying to decide, and the place got booked by someone else. After that, the only places we could find had just 1 bedroom, a pull-out couch, and an air mattress. Alex is recovering from an injury, so of course he shouldn't be on the air mattress. The couple immediately said they wanted the bedroom, but they're not offering to pay more for it. That leaves me with the air mattress. Jay and Sam both don't have driver's licenses, and Alex can't drive right now because of his injury, so I'm the only one who can drive us there and back. On top of that, I'm also the only one who has to work on Monday. I really don't want to be the one driving for hours, sleeping on an air mattress, and then dragging myself to work the next day all tired and sore. I genuinely hate sleeping on an air mattress. I always sleep like crap, and it just hurts my neck. So, I told them I was backing out. I told them that if they really want to do a trip like this, they need to plan it better so that everyone is comfortable. Alex and Sam seemed to understand, but Jay got annoyed. She said I was being a party pooper, that I was being selfish, and that I was ruining the weekend. She told me I should just adjust so we could all have fun. For a moment, I really did think I was overreacting because it's just 1 night, and going to the mountains would be super fun. But honestly, it doesn't feel fair that I have the worst sleeping arrangement and still get labeled as the problem. So, am I the a-hole for backing out last minute because I didn't want to sleep on an air mattress? Now for the top comments before reading the update. That's legit crappy. Everyone pays the same price, but you get the worst bed option and are the designated driver? Nah, they're just mad because they can't do any of this without you, but not appreciating the extra effort on your part. Not the a-hole. Have them sleep on the air mattress. You get the bed. Seems only fair since you are driving and have to work Monday. Even without work on Monday, I wouldn't want to sleep on an air mattress after driving up there, activities and whatnot. And after sleeping like crap, do hours of driving back. That's just a big no thank you. They weren't going to pitch in for gas either, were they? The 2 people who can't drive, trying to call the shots on a road trip, is low-key hilarious. Tell them to either quit being bums or to quit being selfish pricks. That's absolutely what stood out for me. When I was 17, I was the only one who could reliably borrow a parent's car during the summer holidays. Night shift worker. First thing my mom pointed out was, here's how to spot a leech. The obvious one was someone planning big things that could only happen on the group effort without them pitching in anything other than the idea. For me, the obvious leech was the witch that wanted a day at the beach where I drove and brought food and drinks and brought the inflatable ocean kayaks. As soon as I saw a must-have a pool, I started to wonder if this was my old mate from high school. F you, Matilda. Now for the update. Thanks to everyone who replied to my original post. Your responses really helped me feel like I wasn't crazy for feeling frustrated. Unfortunately, I had to go on the trip because I couldn't cancel the Airbnb. Now that the trip is finally over, I wanted to post a quick update. For a bit more context, I moved to a new city last year, and I've been friends with these people for a little over a year. So I haven't known them for very long, but we've gone out drinking, grabbed food, gone to the movies a few times. They've always seemed pretty chill, which is why I thought it wouldn't be a bad idea to do a short trip with them. Turns out I was very wrong. Now on to the actual update. I had already booked everything before the whole sleeping arrangement argument. My bad, I know. I just had to do it quickly because it was the 4th of July weekend. The Airbnb, the gondola tickets, shuttle tickets, even prepaid parking. After realizing the Airbnb couldn't be canceled, I figured I'd just go anyway. I even messaged the host to ask if she could help us with another mattress or something. She said the pull-out couch would be big enough for 2 people and just looked small in the photos. At that point, Sam and Jay still wouldn't budge, so I told myself I'd just suck it up and deal with it for one night. We were supposed to leave early Saturday morning. They were supposed to show up at my place by 5:30 a.m., so we could leave by 6. All of them only arrived around 7:15 to 7:30, so we ended up starting the drive late. We only got to the town around 1 p.m. Then they took 2 hours to eat lunch, and because of that, we missed our shuttle to the gondola. When I suggested we just do a short hike instead, they said they were too tired and just wanted to get drinks at the local bar. Since I refused to drive them to the bar, they got it delivered. And they stayed up drinking on the couch, aka my bed for the night, and didn't let me sleep until 2 a.m. They got absolutely wasted and told me they weren't going to the lake the next morning and then passed out on the couch or floor. So I did get the bed, but at what cost, lol? I woke up at around 7 a.m. to cancel our shuttle tickets and started cleaning up the Airbnb before our 11 a.m. checkout. They didn't wake up until 10:30, and I had to beg them to get dressed so we could check out on time. I was so done at this point, so I drove them all back to Alex's place and went home. So we did absolutely nothing on the trip except take a 16-minute gondola ride up and down a mountain. No one has paid me back for anything. Not for the Airbnb, not for the gas, not even for the tickets. You were all right. I was just the driver and someone who helped make their trip cheaper. I don't think I'm going to be hanging out with these people anymore. I'll wait to get my money back, if I ever do, and then I'm done. It feels kind of sad because these were some of the first friends I made since moving to this city, but honestly, life's too short to spend time around selfish, inconsiderate people. Deep down, I already knew this trip would be a mess, but I had to learn it the hard way, I guess. Hopefully next time I'll spot people like this a little earlier. Lesson learned. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my friend use my car after she basically hijacked it for 3 months and now blames me for almost losing her job? I honestly can't believe I'm even writing this because it sounds so ridiculous when I type it out. So a few months ago, my friend, let's call her Anna, not her real name, was in a really tough spot. She lost her car, didn't have savings, and was at risk of losing her job since she had no way to get there. Out of pure kindness, and maybe stupidity on my part, I offered to let her borrow my car for a few days while she figured things out. Well, a few days turned into 3 freaking months. She basically started treating my car like it was hers. She would take it every single day to work, keep it for hours afterward to run errands, and sometimes even leave trash inside. She never once offered to pay for gas, oil changes, or any maintenance. I tried hinting, but she would always say, "Oh, I'm broke right now," or just ignore it completely. It got to a point where I had to ask permission to use my own car. Once I had an important appointment, and she got mad at me because I inconvenienced her schedule by needing my own car. I was literally paying for gas that she used up, and she didn't even have the decency to top it off once. Finally, I snapped. I told her she couldn't borrow it anymore, that I was done being taken advantage of, and that she needed to figure out another way to get to work. I said this as nicely as possible, but firmly. She completely lost it. She started screaming at me, saying I was ruining her life and sabotaging her future. She claims she has no way to get to work now, except taking the bus, and that she's been over an hour late every day since I selfishly took back my car. She even had the nerve to tell me that it's my fault she's been getting written up at work and is now at risk of getting fired. Now she's guilt-tripping me nonstop. She's texting me at all hours, saying she can't believe I'd do this to a friend, that I'm heartless, and that I owe her more support after everything she's been through. On top of that, some mutual friends are taking her side, saying I should have at least given her more warning or helped her find a new solution first. I genuinely feel bad that she's struggling, but at the same time, I feel like she massively crossed a line and took advantage of me for months. I never agreed to be her personal free Uber. So, am I the a-hole for finally saying enough is enough and taking my car back, even if it means she might lose her job? Or should I have done more to help her transition? I honestly feel so conflicted, but also kind of furious. Would love to hear if I'm totally out of line, or if anyone else has dealt with something like this. Now for the top comments. Definitely not the a-hole. She leeched off you for months, ignored boundaries, agreed upon timeline, and now blames you for her lack of planning. If your mutual friends are so concerned, they're welcome to help her out. Plus, there's other options like Uber, leasing a car, carpooling, etc., especially if using buses doesn't work for her. You were more than generous, and she took advantage. Thank you. I also suggested work friends too, etc. Just tell the freeloader to get lost and be done with her. You've been so far beyond nice. She feels like she can treat you this way. Show her she's wrong. Maybe she needs to take an earlier bus. It's not your fault she's an entitled moron. Block her. What I'd like to know is in the 3 months she had access to the car, why she wasn't saving for at least a down payment for a used car. I know the answer is that she was probably blowing her money while she was on her errands and was banking on this being a permanent arrangement as a term of retaining her as a friend, since she believes friends should be happy to be treated as doormats. Putting the effort to retain her as a friend is not worth what she's putting OP through. Not the a-hole. Next story. Am I the a-hole for dumping dinner in the trash and asking my family not to stay at my place again? My family's visiting for a couple of days. My brother, his wife, and their 2 kids. I tried to be a good host and cooked a nice dinner for everyone on their last evening here, even though I had a busy day at work. For context, my house has an open floor plan, so we were all in the same area. I let everyone know that dinner was ready, but no one came to the table. I thought maybe they hadn't heard me because the TV was on, so I repeated myself but still got no response. I went ahead and made my plate and sat down to eat. Meanwhile, my brother's wife was watching Facebook videos, my brother was watching football, and their kids were playing video games. When I finished eating, I picked up my plate and asked if anyone was going to eat. My brother got up and went to smoke outside. The kids kept ignoring me, and his wife just gestured that she was busy. After 20 minutes, the food was cold, so I threw it away. I wished them good night and told them I wasn't their servant, and that the least they could do was acknowledge the effort someone puts into cooking for them. I also told my brother he wasn't welcome to stay at my place again. Edit. I had cooked fried fish. It doesn't reheat well. I didn't want my house to smell bad either. The family eats fish, and a few days ago, my brother mentioned he missed Mom's old fried fish recipe. So I decided to cook it for them. Now for the top comments. Rude as heck for those people to act that way, and they're teaching their kids the same behavior. You are not the a-hole. No way. I would have probably said some more choice words if I were you, I'll tell you that. What's most upsetting is the lack of acknowledgement. Their kids wouldn't even look up from their phones, and his wife just waved her hands to signal she was too busy to pay attention. It sounds like they just pretended you weren't there. That's so deeply insulting, I would have reacted the same way. Like, aren't they there to visit and spend time with you? If they were just using your house like a hotel, they can stay in one next time. That's what made me upset. It made me feel like they were using my home as a hotel and I was an inconvenience. Not the a-hole, but I doubt this is unusual behavior from them. Stop hosting. Hotels and restaurants exist. His wife and kids are a bit entitled, so their behavior isn't abnormal. You're the a-hole if you host again. No reason to put willingly yourself in an unfair situation. Hopefully this is their last visit. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to just let his mom keep the inheritance, since she clearly doesn't want to give it because of me? So here's the deal. I've been married to my husband for almost 3 years now. Things aren't perfect, but we are holding it together. I work part-time while studying, and he's full-time at a job that honestly drains him. We're trying to build something, not just for now, but long-term. You know, buy a little place, maybe have a kid someday, finally breathe. Now his mom, she's always been weird with me. Like, not directly rude, but the kind of person who'll smile at you while twisting the knife. At first, I thought it was just me being paranoid, but over time the little digs piled up. Like when she said she missed the old him before he got married. Or when she told him in front of me that some women just want to ride on someone else's hard work. Gee, wonder who she meant. Anyway, here's where it gets real. His father passed a while back and left a sizable inheritance. Nothing huge, but enough to help us put a down payment on a house. The money is technically in his mom's name for now, but it was meant to be shared among the kids eventually. So my husband finally worked up the nerve to ask her if he could access part of his share, just enough to help us get started. And she said no, flat out. Not because the money's not there, not because she has plans for it, but because, in her words, as long as she's still around, I don't feel good about giving it to you. She, meaning me. My husband didn't say much, just sat there, looking like he got kicked in the gut. And I didn't even know what to do. My hands were literally shaking. Like, what do you even say to something that cruel? Later that night, I told him, just let it go. If she's gonna hold money over your head because I exist, then maybe we don't want anything from her anyway. I said it because I didn't want him to keep begging. I said it because I was pissed. But mostly, I said it because I couldn't stand watching him get humiliated like that again. Now he's barely talking to me. He says I gave up too fast. That I should have fought for him, stood by him, tried harder to convince her. But convince her of what? That I'm worthy of her dead husband's money? That I'm not some gold digger when I've worked and sacrificed just as much? It's like I'm being punished just for being in his life. I don't even know anymore. I thought I was helping. I thought telling him to let it go would stop the bleeding. But now he's distant, cold, and honestly, I'm tired. So am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your mother-in-law and husband are the a-holes here. He should be sticking up for you. If he doesn't, then the twisting of the knife will only continue and lead to bigger problems with her. Does she not realize you two are thinking of children? She doesn't seem like someone who would be a nice grandmother. Maybe cutting her off will open her eyes. Thank you for your insight. You're right, if he doesn't set boundaries now, it could only get worse. I really appreciate the perspective. Not the a-hole. I'm with the top comment here. It was 100% not your place to say a word to his mom. It was 100% his job to say, what do you mean as long as she's around? She's my wife. She's not going anywhere. Your husband needs clarity from a lawyer on what his father's will stated. If his father just left everything to his wife, then it's now her money, and she'll do with it as she pleases, including using it to lord over your husband to fawn over her and eventually leave you. If the will states your husband was directly given money from his father, she needs to make with the money. Not the a-hole in either scenario though, as no part of this is anything you can control.